I will work with Republicans on a plan for economic growth, job creation, and reducing our deficits. And that has some compromise between Democrats and Republicans. I understand there's people have a lot of different views. I'm willing to compromise a little bit.
His proposal that he offered to Boehner was literally a joke. It's a $50 billion stimulus package. It raised taxes by $1.6 trillion. It did nothing to save Social Security and Medicare.
Once you give him the rate on the top 2%, it's actually much lesser tax increase than what he's been talking about. The focus then shifts to entitlements, and maybe that puts us in a place where we actually can do something that really saves this nation. So there is a growing body. I actually am beginning to believe that is the best route for us to take to, again, shift the focus where it needs to be, which is on entitlements.
The president says he wants tax rate because he wants revenue. Republicans already offered him the revenue. The president also says he wants a balanced approach. That means 2.5 to 3 times as many spending cuts as there are to revenue. I don't think Republicans or Americans want to raise any taxes just to continue the spending in Washington.
Republicans, there's increasingly some, while the Corker message is getting into the House, as Juan suggests, there is also another message that's saying, you know what, we lose always. Why not lose fighting and go over this cliff and fight when you have the leverage on the other side? Charles, I'm hearing it more and more. Whether it's pervasive or not, I don't know.
Let me just start by saying that I will avoid gastrointestinal analogies, particularly colonic ones. I'll stick to the military ones. I think what you see among the Republicans right now is a military rout. If the Republicans had been able to hold the line and had unity in the House, forget about the Senate, but in the House on rates, they might have held the line, or had they gone over the cliff, they'd be in a position next year to negotiate. And I'm not sure, again, people assume Obama is ready to go over the cliff. I don't think he wants to start a second term with a catastrophic recession, drop in the market, etc. But given the fact that we now hear all this dissension, especially Republicans negotiating among themselves on the air, their hand now is much weaker. Boehner does not have unity behind him. So it looks as if his path is going to be to concede on rates. But he's got to get something in return, otherwise it's a complete humiliation, and I don't think it would pass the House. It's got to be something on entitlements. It could be raising the age for Medicare. It could be raising the retirement age on Social Security. Could be changing the cost of living from wage inflation to price inflation. It could be all of the above. But if it isn't something, then I think the House will not go for it.
But remember, as I talked with Carl and Joe, and we've talked at this table many times, we can talk, and everybody can talk all day long, but until you get 218 in the House, and until you get the numbers in the Senate, you're nowhere. And so you have to put those caucus numbers together on both sides, the Republicans in the House and the Democrats in the Senate.
The only way you could possibly get the numbers in the House by hiking rates, let's say to 37, would be if you got something substantial and real on entitlements. If you're just going to get a promise of cuts.
Where is the signal? Where is the light at the end of the tunnel that that is going to happen? I mean, no one has said one thing.
You mean from the Obama side?
Yeah.
Well, if he holds out, I think it will not. There'll be nothing in the House. We'll go over a cliff.
Let me just suggest
if he holds out and offers nothing on spending and entitlements.
I mean, have you heard anything on entitlements? Anything?
Oh, sure.
One peep?
Yeah, well, sure. Just what we were just talking about, changing the cost of living index, and the other one would be bumping up age of eligibility on Medicare, right?
Cost of living index on Social Security?
Correct.
Most Democrats out on the Sunday shows say take it off the table.
No, but not just Social Security. You can look at other government entitlement programs that people are beneficiaries from. But let me just suggest to Charles that, in fact, if there's no vote on anything, the rates expire for everyone, and the Republicans get blamed for bumping up taxes on everybody.
For how long?
And Obama.
What?
For how long do they get blamed?
How do I know? But I'm telling you, it damages the GOP brand.
And Obama inherits a wrecked economy.
Yeah, it's not good for Obama. I would agree. And I don't think that gets enough attention from the press, that if the second term begins with a legacy of economic fear, basically he's in bad shape. And he also would have, given in on the promise to protect the middle class because, as I say, no vote, Charles. No vote in the House, no vote in the Senate.
But that's why I think in the end Obama's going to have to come back at the 11th hour with something real, and then he might get a deal.
The fundamental mission in Afghanistan is to establish an Afghanistan that can secure and govern itself and ensure that al-Qaeda never again finds a safe haven within Afghanistan from which to conduct attacks on the United States or any other country.
Defense Secretary Panetta at the end of last month talking about Afghanistan. The mission on Sunday was to save the life of this man, Dilip Joseph, a Colorado Springs doctor who had been kidnapped with 2 other Afghans working for an NGO in Afghanistan, and the operation was dangerous.
It was a combined operations in order to rescue this individual. During that operation, 7 of those captures were killed. And it has been decided to start the operation since the assessment was that there was an imminent danger of injury or death to the individual.
And Petty Officer First Class Nicholas Check, 28 years old, a Navy SEAL, member of SEAL Team 6, was killed in that operation. Our condolences to his family. We're back with the panel. We don't talk about Afghanistan a lot, Charles, but this mission, the doctor is alive, he's well, he's free. That Navy SEAL dead tonight.
The fact that we don't talk about it, and that we only do when we hear about a mission like this, I think is what makes it doubly tragic. Obviously, there's a terrible tragedy that we lose a brave soldier who gave his life ultimately to save another American, which is sort of the tradition of these incredibly brave soldiers. The tragedy, I think, the double tragedy is, why are they dying? Why are they over there? We heard the Secretary of Defense saying that our mission is to leave behind a government that will maintain itself. That really isn't our mission. If it were our mission, Obama would not have aborted the surge in mid-September, which he did before the election. He would have kept it into the winter season. If that were our mission, he would have honored what the military commanders had asked for at the beginning of the surge, a way to control the South and the East at the same time. In fact, he cut the number of troops so you could only do the South. We are never going to do the East. Essentially, we're simply trying to hold on so we have a decent interval between our withdrawal and a renewal of the Civil War. And if that's the case, if the mission is not a success, if Obama had cut back and never speaks about this, this is never in the consciousness of the nation. I don't think there's ever been a war in our history where a president speaks less about and garners less support on behalf of a real ongoing operation where Americans are dying. If that's our mission, which is minimal, getting out, why are these brave soldiers dying?
This has been a Sunfish production.